Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. As you join in, if you want to introduce yourself within the chat with your name, your organization, where you're coming from, we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Welcome, welcome, everyone joining in. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on where you're located. If you want to introduce yourself within the chat, we'll get started in a minute with your name, your organization, and where you're coming from. We'll soon get started. Awesome to see where we have so many people from across the country, Washington, New Jersey, Iowa, Maine. Welcome everyone joining in. Welcome. We'll get started in just a couple of seconds. If you want to just add your name, your organization, where you're coming from, we will get started. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started. As you enter in, again, please feel free to introduce yourself within the chat. I'm so excited to start talking about matching grants for Giving Tuesday 2025. Just a couple of housekeeping things before we delve into matching grants. Um, if you have any questions, I will try to keep track of the chat as we go along. There's also a questions tool, so sometimes that's easier for me to track if you do have any questions that pop up. So I'll try to answer questions as we go along, and then we'll also save some time at the end for questions. This webinar is being recorded, so we will send a follow-up email with a copy of this slide deck, as well as the recording, as well as any additional resources we talk about throughout this webinar. So you don't have to worry about taking any notes that you see on the slide deck. We'll be emailing those out to you tomorrow. Welcome. My name is Lisa Gelprin. I'm the Marketing and Communications Manager here at Mighty Cause. If this is your first webinar with Mighty Cause, welcome. If this is not your first webinar, well, welcome as well. But for those of you, if it is your first webinar with us, just a little background about Mighty Cause. We are a year-round free, all-in-one nonprofit fundraising platform. We've been in the nonprofit space since 2006. And we're also one of the biggest technology providers for giving events across the country, including our own Giving Tuesday event, which I'll talk a little bit about. But some of the tools and products or features that we have available to nonprofits is peer-to-peer fundraising, donor management, analytics, reporting, embeddable forms, and all of these features are available to you on the platform, especially if you are interested in participating in our Giving Tuesday event. So if you're on this webinar, you probably care about Giving Tuesday and are actively participating. But just to reinforce about why Giving Tuesday is so important, it is the biggest fundraising day of the year. It was built as a day as a response to Black Friday and Cyber Monday. It is a day that is dedicated to giving, which makes it all more important for your nonprofit to participate in a day around the world that's centered around giving. So as I mentioned, we host our own Giving Tuesday event. It is completely free to register to participate in our event. So the Giving Tuesday this year is on December 2nd. So any donations you start receiving through the Mighty Cause Giving Tuesday platform from November 18th to December 2nd count towards our prizes. which kind of takes me to, why participate in our Giving Tuesday event. So you'll have access to all of our fundraising tools on the platform, as well as free trainings, recorded webinars, templates, guides, our whole toolkit, and you'll also be eligible for $20,000 in prizes that we're giving out this Giving Tuesday to nonprofits. So I talked about some of these features, integrations, donor management, text to give, embeddable donation form, and these are just some. All right, to register for our Giving Tuesday event, it takes only a couple minutes. If you're interested, you can just go to givingtuesday.mightycause.com. You can quickly just add that link here. You'll click register, and then you will submit the registration form, which only takes a couple of minutes. And then the second part of it is being added as an admin and completing your to-do list tasks, which is really just adding a logo and a banner image, just filling out your page a little bit so that it is ready to go for Giving Tuesday. All right, so that's just a little bit about our Giving Tuesday event. We're going to jump into everything about matching grants. So for today's agenda, we're going to talk about just the basic of matching grants, some strategies you can implement regarding matching grants, how to secure a match, how to create a match through Mighty Cause, and then how to promote your match. So what exactly is a matching grant? So a matching grant is a fundraising strategy. It's a fundraising tool that's used to make donating an incentive. It's when you secure a large donation, which large is subjective. That can be $1,000 or $100,000. But it's when you secure a large donation and you offer a match to incoming donations. And typically, a matching grant, you secure it before your fundraising event so that you can offer it on your giving day. Matching grants, the reason why they are so popular and common and also so effective is that they are a great marketing tool to motivate your donors to give immediately. So as you see on the left-hand side, two social media posts, one that says, want to double your donation to KMFA, help us raise 20K before 6 p.m. today to unlock all or nothing 20K matching grant. It's a great tool to communicate to your donors, a call to action to donate immediately. And it gives your donors an opportunity to double their money, essentially. It's a buy one, get one free in their eyes. So we'll talk a little bit later more about the different types of matches in particular that you can create on Mighty Cause, but just a brief overview. There are a lot of different matches that you can implement, and what you implement will depend on your goal, which we'll talk about a little later. But the most common type of match is a one-to-one. So it's a 100% match. If I give $5, my $5 is matched 100%. So it's really a $10 donation. You have a percentage match. So sometimes you want to 2x that. My $5 is really a $15 donation. And a cumulative threshold match. So meaning you have to reach a certain amount in order to receive your match. So you have to get 20 donors in order to receive your $1,000 match, as an example. So something according to Double the Donation, 1 in 3 supporters stated in their survey that they'd increase the size of their donation if they knew it would be matched. 84% of donors say they're more likely to donate if a match is offered, which is a large percentage and a large number. And in particular, if we combine this with just how big giving is in the month of December, M&R benchmarks found that overall 40% of online revenue happens in that final December month of the year. It makes it an even more important strategy to implement during such an important time of the year. So why utilize a matching grant? We talked a little bit about this, but just some different angles to think about why they are so effective. So they generate interest, as I mentioned, they act as a buy one, get one deal to inspire people to donate. It makes donation dollars go further, offers donors the benefit of doing more with the money they have to give. In that example I showed before, someone knows that if they make a donation right now, my donation isn't just a $25 donation. I'm making an even bigger impact by essentially making a $50 donation. So they feel like they are giving more. If you I don't know if you've spoken to donors and have seen this mindset. A lot of donors, they view giving as you're kind of you're just facilitating their giving, and they're really doing the act of the giving. So making their donation go further is going to be even more impactful for them. It gives a grantor or major donor a new fun way to get involved and help your organization. It is a great way to also leverage a leaderboard. So if you're participating in a giving event like Giving Tuesday, some of our prizes that we'll have, so for example, a power hour where we'll have a certain time period where the nonprofit that raises the most during a specific time period will receive a prize. So those are great matches are great tools for those type of prizes where you need giving to happen during a specific time period. So you need something to really motivate donations to happen during a specific period. And it's a proven way to drive donation volume and traffic to your Giving Tuesday page based off everything we talked about. If we think about it from the angle of donors, like we talked about, a matching grant makes them a valuable offer to maximize their gifts. And for a grantor, it's also a different ask that you are asking from them. It's not just, hey, can you make another large check that you do annually? For them, it's a way to also increase their giving and make a larger impact because maybe that $1,000 check that they make every year, if they offer to make that a match, for them, it's also essentially a $2,000 gift that they're helping make to your organization because they know that it's going to incentivize and motivate people to donate to your organization. For sponsors, for local businesses, it is a great way to one, first start that communication and relationship with local businesses or companies in your area. It's a way for them to get recognized. There's a lot of companies or organizations that want to do more philanthropic work in their community. And so this is a great opportunity. Again, rather than just writing a check to an organization, they have an opportunity for their name to be affiliated with a match and to make a large impact. And as well for cross promotion, you share their name on your communication and they are sharing your nonprofit and the match with their communication and that they're sponsoring this matching grant. So in terms of for Giving Tuesday, we talked a little bit about the prizes where it's really effective for building prizes as well as building urgency for a specific time period. For giving events, it's a great way, again, for a specific period of time, even just not even a certain hour, but the day of Giving Tuesday to help double your dollars and as well, help compete with any of those prizes for any Giving Tuesday event that you are participating in, including ours. So let's get into just some strategies of Giving Tuesday. How can you implement matching grants with your Giving Tuesday campaign? Before we jump into different strategies, I always think it's really important to think about what your overall goal is. What's your goal for your Giving Tuesday campaign? Is it a numerical goal that you're trying to reach? Are you trying to increase the amount of donors that you received this year compared to last year? Are you trying to increase the amount of donations that you received? It's not a numerical amount. We just want to receive 100 donations this year as opposed to 5 last year. So you want to think about what exactly your overall goal is, and then what do you want your grant to do then? How do you want to utilize it to facilitate that goal? And consider kind of what the outcomes can be most meaningful for your nonprofit in terms of that. And we'll talk a little bit about, depending on what you're trying to do, the type of match you can implement. So just some goal examples. Do you want to increase the total amount given? Do you want to increase the total number of givers, increase the average donation size, repeat donors? Are you trying to target a specific audience, increase the visibility of a specific funder? So let's talk a little bit about those goals. So let's say your goal is donor acquisition. You want to receive as many new donors or maybe even returning donors, but your goal is to increase the amount of donors who actually give to your organization. If that's the case, you may want to consider doing a match that's fueled by unique donors. So you are setting a goal that if you receive, in this example, 100 unique donors, that's going to unlock your match of $1,000. So that is the communication that you're sharing about your matches. We just need two more donors and we receive our $1,000 match. One of the ways to help also do this, if you are planning on doing unique donors as a type of match you want to specifically target, is including specific donation levels in description in your communication that share the impact that's going to make for your organization. Let's say your goal is donor engagement. You just want your donors to be more engaged with your organization, to be more active. One of your goals could be trying to receive a certain amount of donation. So you don't care if Joe Smith makes two donations as opposed to unique donors. You just want to receive 200 donations. Doesn't matter how much they are, doesn't matter if someone repeats their gift, that your goal is overall 200 donations because you want more engagement with your donors. You want them to be active and participating in your matching grant. So this is a great way to kind of help bring together because you have a goal of just reaching 200 donations in order to receive your match of $2,000. So for example. Matching grants are also a very useful tool at the beginning of a campaign. So it's a really great way to start off your campaign with a strong start by saying, at the start of Giving Tuesday, okay, if you start giving on December 2nd, any donations you make on to starting December 2nd is going to count towards this match that we have. So it's a great way to build excitement, kind of set the tone for your campaign of an exciting day to fundraise and support your organization. And vice versa, this also could be a great way to end your campaign. If you want to set it towards the end of the day, maybe because you typically have seen historically in your donor data that you receive a lot of donations maybe during the day, but at night it's a bit slow. You can set it towards the end of Giving Tuesday where maybe from 7 to 10, you're going to have a specific match during that time period to help, motivate people for you to, reach that finish line, especially maybe if you're close to the end of a goal, but you haven't met it yet. It's a really great way to motivate people to help you get over that finish line and stretch your goal as much as you can. Something we also very popularly and often see on the platform is the use of multiple matching grants. So if you're fortunate enough to receive a matching grant and receive more than one matching grant from multiple grantors or one grantor is offering multiple matches, that's a great way to set up your giving event day where you could queue your matches to go from one to the other so that you have a match going on throughout the whole day. So let's say, for some people, they have a match and it goes by quickly because they're fortunate enough, they're getting a lot of donations. If you do have many matches, then that can be sustained throughout the entire day where you constantly have a new match and you're also constantly perhaps sharing information about your grantors or you're sharing different grantors that are providing you that matching grant. And you can set up different grants to hit different goals like we talked about. You could have one that's based off dollars raised, one that's based off donors, or you could even not have them go one right after the other and be set for two different time periods during the day. One also common type of match we see in particular for giving events are board challenges. So this is a really popular way that we've seen nonprofits activate their board members. And so they will have either a board member or their board members pool together funds for a matching grant. Especially if you're utilizing a board challenge in a peer-to-peer fundraising way. If your board members are um, peer-to-peer fundraising for your organization, it could be a great way to kick off a board challenge to help raise money for it. And you can actually set matching grants to specific campaigns that you have on the platform. So if it's specifically related to your board challenge or just a specific program, etc., you can set your matching grants on those specific campaigns, and they will only count towards those campaigns if you would like that. And then, of course, we have the corporate matches, which we talked a little about in terms of sponsorships. On the platform, which you'll see, there is an option to add a logo for a match. So this is a great opportunity for a local business or company that you have a relationship with, or potentially could have a relationship with, to share their organization with a new network of people. You would be adding their logo to this match, and also you would be sharing their logo in your email communication, in your social media. Again, so they are sharing their philanthropic initiatives through the match. And you could even make this fun by doing a social media takeover. You could do collaborative social posts, which again, you guys are helping each other out in terms of collaborative posting and sharing the word for both of your organizations and companies. All right, I'm going to pause here just for some questions. Um, yes, so Giving Tuesday, it's free to register for a Giving Tuesday event. So it doesn't cost anything to register for our Giving Tuesday event. It is free. Where do matches come from? That is a great question. We're going to get to that actually right next. Can you explain in easier terms what grant matching is? I'm not quite understanding why people get excited to match funding. I'm new to fundraising. Yeah, that's a really great question. So I think the best analogy is a buy one, get one free. So on any regular Tuesday, if I were to give to your organization a $25 gift, it would just be a $25 gift. But if you're offering a match, you're essentially saying, hey, if you give a donation today, your $25 donation is going to be matched by a grantor or by our board of directors. So they're going to match your $25 and they're going to give $25, which then incentivizes me to say, oh, if I give today, my $25 donation is essentially a $50 donation. It's going to encourage me to give because I know I have the opportunity to double my gift. But also, it might encourage me to even make a greater gift because, well, today, any donation is going to be matched. Maybe today, instead of giving $25, which I usually do annually, I'm going to up that to $50 because I know that donation is going to go even further now. I hope that makes sense. Um, and yes, this webinar is being recorded and will be shared. So that's the power of matches. It creates urgency and excitement for giving during a particular time period. For matching grants to count towards Giving Tuesday rewards, do they have to be on specific Giving Tuesday page or can they be connected fundraising pages? I'm gonna save that question. We'll get through that in a second. Okay. So securing matching grants. So how do we secure a matching grant? How do we procure a matching grant? So I like to break it down into 3 steps, right? So the first step is prospecting of who could provide a matching grant. So you want to make a list, and we'll talk about who some of those people could be, of people or groups or others who could potentially be a person to provide a matching grant. The next step is doing the outreach, which is creating the communication or figuring out the approach that you want to make when asking for your match. And then the third step is actually making your ask. and talking through about what the match is and what type of match a grantor can provide. So who are some of those people that could provide a matching grant? So most commonly, you're going to see kind of four types of grantors, but I just want to also reinforce a matching grant can come from anyone. It doesn't have to be these specific four types. These are just most common you will see of who is providing a matching grant. But these are going to be the most common type of people who are going to give a large amount that warrants a matching grant. So that could be your board members or trustees. So that can be individuals like we talked about, or it could be your collective board coming together, making an annual donation all together and pooling their funds together for a match. It could be a major donor, someone that writes you a large check, every year, and this is their opportunity to do something different with their donation. It could be a sponsor or partner. And it could be, as I mentioned, with your board pooling funds together. I mean, it can be any collective group. So it could be volunteers, could be staff, it could be alumni that you work with. So when you are prospecting, you want to think about how they are connected to your cause. You want to consider people who care about your cause because they're going to be your warmest leads and the people who are most likely to provide your grant. Do they have a history of giving to your nonprofit or organizations or causes like yours? And also, do they have the capacity to give at a higher level, right? So someone who makes maybe just a $50 donation, they're not going to be the great person to ask to provide a matching grant. You're going to want to reach out to people who have the opportunity to provide a larger amount. So, like I just said, you want to start with your warmest leads. I would recommend reviewing your donor database and looking at your top givers or loyal supporters for your cause, identifying corporate partners that are active in your community or have worked with similar causes, and prepare just 5 to 10 potential match prospects. So, like we talked about, your board members, they made a commitment to the financial well-being of your nonprofit, so they are a natural fit for providing a matching grant. Matching gift donors, these are people who have already invested in your cause and they've shown that they have given in large amounts, and so they're more likely to kind of go along with the matching grant. And partners or corporations who have given to causes, like I mentioned, or have worked with you before. All right, so we're gonna just take 60 seconds. I have just a little homework assignment, and also we're gonna do just a quick activity right now. So I just want you to spend I'm just gonna put 60 seconds on the clock and write down three prospective people you could consider to reach out about providing a matching grant. So one donor a major donor who is given to you consistently, one local business that's supportive of your mission or your community in general, maybe just your mission and your cause, and one board member or group who could pool funds together. So I'm going to put 60 minutes on the clock or 60 seconds on the clock, and just think about that for a minute of who those people could be. And I'll review the questions, guys. Okay. I don't know if that was exactly 60 seconds, but I hope at least it got the ball rolling of some potential people that you could consider. Just some questions that come through. Um, Grant matching takes place at what time during the event? Is it at early giving stage or is it limited to Giving Tuesday? That's a great question. I will kind of get to that later. It will make more sense when I talk about this later. Who is putting the initial money down for the matching grant? So that's going to be the grantor. So let's say I'm a major donor who I give you guys $1,000 check annually. And you come to me and you say, hey, would you be willing to, instead of just writing us a check, it's going to still be a check, but can we actually utilize this as a matching grant? I'm still going to provide you $1,000 check as I would, but this time, um, you as an organization can advertise that you have $1,000 match that my donation is actually going to match any $1,000 if you receive $1,000 for your organization. So I'm still providing the funds, but it's going to be in terms of a match. So I'm still sending my check, but now it's going to be kind of publicized as a match to your donors. Do you have a toolkit with templates? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. We're new to prospecting, getting corporate gifts. When should we start these conversations and how do you start and get the right person? I would start now, especially which is crazy, but we're less than 2 months away from Giving Tuesday. So I would start reaching out now. I think it depends on the type of corporations and organizations you're reaching out to. If it's someone in your local community, I would recommend maybe going in person and seeing if there's someone you could talk to in person. Um, I sometimes it's, stronger when you're having a face-to-face conversation with someone. And it can also just start with, if you're unable to do that, with just an intake form and kind of writing. I'll share some prompts that I have, which you guys can utilize in terms of your outreach to companies. Um, okay. So, some things to consider with your outreach. Every prospect is different. So, established donors or sponsors usually need less time in terms of understanding your organization, who you are, what you do, instead of maybe a new company or a new corporation that may take a little bit more time. But be flexible in terms and responsive to each individual person. You want to personalize your ask to each prospect's giving history and interests. So if you have a major donor that specifically gives regarding a particular program, you want to keep that in mind when talking about matching grants and the type of match that they can provide. I definitely recommend to keep any interactions take notes of any interactions that you have so that even if a grantor decides, or potential grantor decides this is not the time of the year for them, that you note that down as someone you could potentially reach out to again. And also, what is the best way to reach out to those people? We have a donor management system on the platform. So you can take notes there or wherever else you utilize to make sure you have that information down. Because you also want to start cultivating, especially if they're major donors or corporations, you want to start cultivating those relationships and learning more about the best way to communicate with those people. And then the last is just, making the reach out, which is making the call, setting up the meeting, sending the email. You want to prepare an email template with talking points that you can write down, which I'll share a template in a second. So when making your ask, you definitely want to utilize any information that you've gathered during your prospecting and your cultivation process, based off, as I mentioned, their preferences, their capacity, their situation, and personalize your ask. You want to play to their interests. So you want to pitch a match that by explaining how it also benefits them. Like I said, if it's a major donor who consistently makes a check every year, this is them essentially doing that, but making an even larger impact to your organization and being flexible in terms of what they are, if they're curious about, the setup, if they're want a different style of match. So being able to answer those questions and, open to any ideas that they have. So some tips just for making your ask. not everyone understands what a matching grant is. If they're not in the nonprofit world, they may not even know about it. So you want to make sure that you can easily break it down and explain it to someone who asks exactly, well, what is this? Can you explain this to me? Just like someone in the chat asked me. Because they also may not understand how important it may be for your organization and for a Giving Tuesday campaign. So you also want to be prepared and also reinforcing how important Giving Tuesday is for your organization. And you can frame it as a challenge gift or a catalyst for community giving. Think about the language that you want to utilize to communicate how important it would be. Doing your homework, like we talked about, understanding as well as your nonprofit's financials and impact. So it's not just doing your homework on the donor, but also having answers ready for questions about what exactly, how much money are you raising? What are you planning to do with those funds? What have you done last year? You want to consider also involving, maybe your major gifts officer, your executive director, or board chair, if you feel like that would be helpful in lending your weight for the ask. And I have provided here a link, which I'll share. Let me see if I can copy. I will share it in the chat right now. Um, but I'll also share it in the email. But it is an email template for communication. And I just have an example here of for a major donor. So, dear John, Mighty Cows Foundation is gearing up for Giving Tuesday, and we need your help to maximize our impact. We're seeking a matching grant to amplify our campaign's impact. Your support and pledge to match contributions would potentially double our funds raised and inspire more giving. As one of our dedicated donors, you understand the importance of our work. This opportunity would boost our ability to, say, serve 10,000 families in need by the end of the year. I'd love to discuss how your matching gift could help us achieve our Giving Tuesday goals. I'll follow up soon to explore this opportunity. Thank you for your continued support. Short, sweet, kind of gets to the point. You can utilize this and also edit it to make sense for your organization and kind of what you want. But this is kind of a good starting base of the type of language and communication you want to share. So let's say you got a yes. Well, congratulations. So of course you want to say thank you first and foremost. You want to hammer out the details about the match. You want to make sure you're on the same page of what the match will be, the type of match you'll have, how will it function, when will you need it, and have an email confirmation to formalize that commitment. You want to talk about goals. So you want to find out what's most important to the grantor. So for example, do they want to be recognized? As you see at the bottom, recognition. Do they want to stay anonymous? Do they want their logo added and their name? They want this to be advertised. You want to be on the same page of exactly what their expectations are, how public they want to be. And yeah, just have that open line of communication regarding that. All right, so let's say it's a no. Well, you want to first offer maybe a scaled option and figure out what exactly the issue is in terms of giving a grant. Is it just the wrong time of year? Is what you offered in terms of a match too much for them? Maybe a $10,000 match is not realistic for a major donor or an organization at this time of the of year. Maybe a $5,000 ask is different. So you want to work with them and figure out exactly why no, because that will inform you for later as well. Because if this is maybe just a no now, it doesn't mean it's not a no later. So you want to learn a little bit about, whoever you're prospecting and reaching out to see if that can be a future ask. As well as, this could be a relationship that you deepen further in terms of, any involvement in your organization, any communication regarding your organization. Keep cultivating and engaging. So you want to make it a good experience for your grantor. So as we talked about, kind of having that open line of communication, and showing the impact of what the matching grant has done. If you are able to fill your matching grant, letting them know, thanking them, letting them know exactly what you're going to be doing with those funds and how powerful it will be for your organization. And you want to make sure that you're touching base with them and you're sharing that information with them during or after your giving event. and also making sure that you have a thank you ready to send out to them with your results. Okay. So creating your matching grant. So I'm going to talk through about how to make a match on Mighty Cause, and I'll answer some of the question in terms of how do they make their gift, etc. It'll make more sense through this section. So you can create your match on Mighty Cause through your organization dashboard if you are an admin. So you go to fundraising tools and matching grants, and then you can click create. And so as you see in the right-hand side, a little GIF of just what that creation tool looks like when you're creating a match. So I'm going to go through exactly all the different options available to you so that when you are creating your match, you're not lost, it's not confusing, and it all makes sense. So like we talked about in the beginning, there's different types of matches that you can make. Most common that you're going to see is a one-to-one match, 100% match, meaning I give $25, that $25 is fully matched on the platform. And so that will just be a match, a percentage of each donation, 100%. And that's automatically enabled on your page. You can change that if you want, but that's just going to be enabled because that's just the most common type of match you will see. Um, so I have just a couple examples of screenshots here of matching a percentage of each donation. So as you see on the left-hand side, this was an organization that was matching 100% of each gift. The middle one is 50% of each donation, and the third one is 300% of each donation. So you can also change the percentage that you want matched per gift. Below that, you'll see the cumulative threshold matches. And I want to talk specifically about this first one because sometimes organizations can get this confused with the 100% one. And I want to make sure it's clear. So you'll see where it says apply total match when total dollars raised equals the match value. So what this means is that let's say you have a grantor that says, I am going to give you a matching grant of $5,000, but it's only going to be received, or you're only going to receive it if you can fully raise $5,000. So as opposed to saying, I will give a match of $5,000, so every donation that you receive up to $5,000 will be matched. So the difference is that for this type of match, you need to raise $5,000 for any of those donations to be matched, as opposed to the percentage. So this would be the type of match you wanna create if it's be all or end all, right? So you need to raise $5,000 or you don't get any of the $5,000 match. Sometimes organizations will select this and they weren't intending it to be that way. They wanted for their metrics to automatically grow when they receive each donation, but that's not how this specific option works. It's a be all or end all. So the $5,000 will be shown after you unlock the $5,000 gift. So as I also have written here, think of it as a Kickstarter campaign. You have to meet your goal in order to receive the funds, as opposed to receiving it as donations are coming through. Then you have apply total match when a certain quantity of donation is received. So what we talked about earlier, if you have a goal of we need to receive 50 donations, it doesn't matter if it's a person giving twice or 3 times. We just want people engaged. We want to receive as many donations as possible. This is the type of match you're going to enable. And then you have unique donors. So to apply total match when a certain number of unique donors is reached. So this is going to be look at individual people. So if one donor donates twice, that's not going to be counted twice for this type of match. It's only going to be counted per person. So trying to get as many people giving, not necessarily their amounts or the amount of times they donate, but the amount of people that are giving is important in this type of match. So then we also have different conditions that you'll see enabled on here. Most of you guys don't have to worry about this. You will keep it how it's preset for you, but just to kind of talk through those options. So one is setting a minimum per donation amount before match is applied. So let's say you don't want to count low donations amounts. You want your only donations that are $50 or above to count. Because again, when we talk about our goals, let's say we want to increase our average gift size. So donations that are above $50 or more will be matched. That's a way to help increase your average donation amount. If that's a goal that you have where you have a match that's just catered to a certain amount or higher amount. So you would enable that option. Including offline donations in the match is if you add an offline gift on the platform, let's say you receive a donation via check or cash, that's going to be counted toward the match. Include organization fundraisers in the match. So that means if you have any fundraisers or programs or campaigns going on, that match from your org page is going to be counted towards everything and then apply match once per donor. So if you want to universally on this match that it's only going to apply once per every donor, you can enable that. And then the email address that you enter is going to be the email address that you want whomever to receive a notification that the grant has been fulfilled. So it can be actually the grantor, so it could be their email address so that when the grant is met, they know, okay, now I can go fulfill it. I can go make my gift. Or you can add your email address if you want to kind of own that communication. Um, it it's whatever your preference is, but it's intended for it to be the grantor, but you can also add yourself if you want to be the person who's in charge of that communication. One other option I want to also cover, which is can sometimes be confusing, is you're going to see something enabled, which is include match value in page metrics. So what this means is that let's say you do have a one-to-one match. I give $25, $25 is automatically matched. If this is enabled, this means that on your thermometer, on your dollars raised toolbar or what's on your organization page. If I make a $25 gift and a match is enabled, your thermometer and your total amount is going to go up by $50. That match is going to be included. The match value is going to be included in page metrics. One thing to just remember is that for Giving Tuesday on Mighty Cause, online donations count towards leaderboards or prizes. Match gifts and offline gifts do not count. Also, if your grantor is planning on making their gift online so that it does count towards leaderboards or it does count towards prizes, you want to make sure you disable this, or there's a way to turn it off afterwards after the match has ended. Otherwise, your donations are going to be counted twice because this is automatically counting it. And then if the grantor goes in and makes their gift online, it's going to be double counting it. When you're creating your match, you'll add the title of the match. You'll also, I don't have screenshot here, but you'll add the grantor's name. You can choose for it to be anonymous or not if they want to be anonymous. And then you add the start date or time. So I have here the beginning of early giving, which is November 18th to December 2nd. What you'll also see if you are creating multiple matches, so if you have more than one match on your page, when you go to make your second match, so let me go back. So your first match is going to look like this. When you go to make your second match, you're going to see this enabled, which is queue this grant to begin immediately after another grant completes. So that means that whenever my board of directors match is finished, this second one I'm creating is going to automatically start. If you don't want that to happen, you can uncheck it and then add the start date time that you want. But most nonprofits typically want it queued so that they go one after the other. as opposed to having two going at the same time. All right. And then lastly is your fulfillment link. So when your matching grant is met, you've received full, in this example, $10,000 of your donation, and your grantor wants to fulfill their donation online so that it's count towards Giving Tuesday prizes or leaderboards. You can go to your match manager and you put past matches, click the menu icon and click fulfillment link, and this will provide you a link you can share them so that their donation is going to be counted as fulfilled. If they don't use this link, it's not a problem. It just in the system, it will just mark that this match was fulfilled, but it's not an issue if they don't use this link. All right, some FAQs just about matching grants, and then we're getting to the end, so I'll save the rest of the questions for the end. But does the matching grant have to be processed online? As I mentioned, no, but only donations made on the Giving Tuesday platform count towards prizes and leaderboards. So it is advantageous for your organization if the grantor makes their gift online. Why is my match not being included in leaderboard? As I mentioned, match values will not be included on leaderboards, only online donations. Do donations made to peer-to-peer or fundraising pages count towards the match? This is totally your choice. As I showed you in the tool, you can enable that if you would like to or not, or you could set up a match to happen on a specific fundraising page if you just want to associate it with a specific fundraising page. Does your match, I think this is just a repeat of this page. Okay. Um, When your grant displays, so once you have created your match, it's going to show up on your org page, on your donate when it's active, I should say, you're going to see a match button added to your donate button. It's only going to show that when your match is active. So let's say you set up your match today and you set it to go live on November 18th. You're not going to see that until November 18th when it's live and active. And then also at the bottom of your page, you're going to see um, a match tile, which has the details of the match, and as well in the search, or any donor that searches for on Mighty Cause or on givingtuesday.mightycause.com, they'll be able to search any organizations that have matches going on. All right, so let's talk about then promoting your match, because this is really important in terms of making sure that you are successful with your matching grant. So you want to make sure you're including it in your emails, that language is being shared. You don't want to wait until last minute. You want to make sure that you have that communication ready on social media and on your website so that that is communicated everywhere. So just have an example here of for email. I won't read out the full thing, but you want to make sure that you're getting across that right now it's the time to make your gift because you can double your donation if you make your donation today. Here are two, I think, great examples of different social posts that organizations made to highlight a matching gift that they had. So if you see on the left-hand side, it says, "Today only your donation doubled." And then the second one, "Double your donation to IM through Friday, 6/24." So super clear of double your donation today and when they can do that. Last chance, max 2x the impact for oceans this Giving Tuesday. Time is running out to participate in the biggest day to give back to the oceans. Donate to Oceana today to take a stand against harmful plastic pollution, etc. So again, super clear when to make a gift, what the impact is, and also what the impact is in terms of making a gift in general. So you can also think about traditional collateral, so meaning signs, flyers, especially if you have an in-person event going on, having your team involved in sharing this communication. And anywhere that you're talking about your campaign, you want to promote it. So I have just a sample kind of schedule to think about in terms of moving forward for your calendar. So I would say from now to next week, you want to start planning. So setting your match goal, your structure, identifying your prospects as soon as possible until maybe the 4th of making those asks, following up and securing your commitments from the 4th to the 11th, finalizing, what that matches, and also prepping your promotional content from the 18th to Giving Tuesday, promoting your match on all communication channels. And then on the day after Giving Tuesday, then the stewardship part where you're thanking your match donor, reporting your results, and nurturing that relationship. So we're at the end, and then I'll go through questions. So just a couple of save the dates. One, register today for Giving Tuesday. It's completely free to register. Our next two webinars that we have that are Giving Tuesday focused is about marketing and communications. So that will be on the 30th. November 6th, we have last minute tips for Giving Tuesday. So if you're kind of procrastinating this or you don't have time to get to it, we'll talk about some last minute tips you can implement to have a successful Giving Tuesday campaign. November 18th, early giving opens, and then Giving Tuesday on December 2nd. And next up, so you'll get a follow-up email with a recording and this slide deck. If you want to learn more about Mighty Cause, if you want to learn more about participating in Giving Tuesday, there's going to be a post-webinar survey. Fill it out and let us know if you're interested in that. Register for Giving Tuesday and then signing up for a future webinar. All right, so I know there's a ton of questions that have come up, so let's get to it. Okay. What is the difference between making a donation on November 18th versus December 2nd? Yeah, so for our Giving Tuesday event, you'll see this is really common with, in general, giving days or giving events that you may participate in, which is having more than one time period. So not just having one day to give a gift, to have some more space and time because not everyone can give maybe on December 2nd. So for our giving event, you can start receiving donations from the 18th for it to count towards any of our prizes and our leaderboards. So that's when you can start, donors can start making gifts for it to count. Is tracking matching grants and Mighty Cause required or is it voluntary? What is the benefit to us to enter into Mighty Cause? Yeah, so it's easy to track, right? So if you add a $10,000 matching grant onto the platform, I mean, as you saw, it only takes 2 minutes and it's just easy way for you to keep track of how close you are to meeting your match. Do you maybe you saw with the thermometer, I think, it will show you, yes, how far close you are. So if you know you're far away, that's going to give you a signal that, okay, maybe I need to send out an email communication that this match is happening. And when it's finished, you will also know through the platform. And as well, if you have people that are going to the platform that are making a gift, it's going to reinforce to them that a match is happening. And like we talked about in the beginning, could encourage them to make an even larger gift if they see, oh, a match is happening on this organization. So there's really no harm in adding it. It's just, I would say helpful to keep track of it, but you don't have to, but I would say I would do it, especially if you're using the platform. Um, Okay, if I host an event in a new city or area, should I invite local businesses to entice to donate? What matching strategy can I pitch? Yeah, I would, of course. Yes, I would definitely invite local businesses to donate. What matching strategy can I pitch? I mean, I think you can go with one-to-one. That's the most common. Not to say you can't use another strategy, but that can be the most common. And again, as I mentioned, a lot of companies and a lot of organizations, they actually aren't interested in doing philanthropic initiatives. And sometimes they actually don't have a person at their organization that has the capacity to go and look into it. So you'd be surprised of how many organizations or companies would be interested in supporting your organization. Again, it's more the opportunity for them is so much more meaningful, especially if you frame in the way that I shared, which is you're not just writing a check to our organization. We're going to be sharing your company in our communication. It's going to be posed as a match, which means you're showing our community that you care and that you are trying to encourage giving as well. It's just much more and more impactful than just giving a gift to an organization. Um, okay. I know there's a ton in the chat. We are receiving 3 grants that require matching funds by November 1st. How can we use the matching funds option to apply received funds with new matching donations? Okay, I may have to think about that for a second. We're receiving 3 grants that require matching funds by November 1st. How can we use the matching funds option to apply received funds with new matching gifts? Okay, so you're saying that, I don't know if I'm gonna understand this correctly. You're going to be receiving the funds already by November 1st. And so if you use it for Giving Tuesday, but you already have the funds, is that what you're asking? Um, Regardless, so that's actually pretty common, more common than you think, is that a lot of nonprofits, like their funds are guaranteed regardless, and the grantor, they're using the matching gift as an incentive tool, as because it is a marketing tool. But some organizations know that their grantor, even if they don't meet $5,000, if let's say that's the match, their grantor is going to provide it. Their grantor is going to provide them the full $5,000, because, even if it's not on Giving Tuesday, if they can receive gifts later on. um, I've seen that before where you know, they're trying to reach it, but they know their grantor will provide them the full amount in worst case. So I would just, yeah, if you're receiving those funds by November 1st, I would say, the grantors, they're still making those gifts because they're matching gifts. So it doesn't necessarily matter when you're getting them. The point is they're giving it to you because they want it to be a match. And that's the most important thing. Um, I hope that makes sense. Um, Does the base grant match stay the same, or as it grows, is that amount every new donors are matching? Not sure I understand. I see the value in setting up early for automated messaging and to keep track of thresholds that unless scheduled matches. What if the goal wasn't met at the deadline? Does the fundraising end? Does the nonprofit and the nonprofit doesn't move forward with their goal to raise funds, etc. So like I said just now, it depends on your agreement with your grantor. So that's why I showed that option where apply total match if you receive that. So if you have a situation where the grantor is only going to give you the funds if you meet $5,000, then you want to communicate with them if those are the stipulations. If it's not, what stipulations are there. Sometimes the organizations don't meet the goal, but sometimes the grantor, is going to work with them in terms of, if you still receive donations maybe by the end of the month, etc., we're still going to provide the grant to your organization. Can you revisit multiple challenges? Example, we have a one-to-one match for dollar, and we have a board $1,000 challenge grant unlocking at 100 donors. Okay. Um, yeah, so you can set those up to be one right after the other, or you can set it up to be 2 different time periods. I don't recommend to have them at the same time. If you want to, you can. But I think it would service you best if you have it at distinct times, because then you have 2 distinct messaging and 2 distinct times where you can motivate giving. But yeah, I would say, looking at your kind of donation reporting and what time periods you think would be most beneficial to have those 2 different ones. Um, if your one-to-one match is all day, but your board challenge is during a certain period of time, or vice versa, that also works. But it really just depends on kind of what you think works best for your organization. There's no wrong answer here. Is it required to log matching grants and mighty cause? I answered that question. Um, are in-kind matches ever successful or only cash? For example, when we get 2,500 donors, $100 donors, our sponsor will donate 1 ton of products to our nonprofit. Um, I am not as familiar with in-kind matches because on our platform we only deal with dollar really matches. So I'm not particularly sure of kind of the effectiveness of in-kind ones, but I'm sure they're as effective because it is a donor recognizing that their donation is making a larger impact. When people give during matches, how do you reflect that in their receipts and acknowledgments, the actual amount they gave, or do you show their match? Um, I don't believe it is on their donation receipt on Mighty Cause. If you have match value and page metrics enabled, it will automatically count. Like they'll see the fundraising number go up. Excuse me. You'll see it go up by $50 if it's a $25 gift, for example. So they'll see it there. And then in your communication, I didn't show this, but on your match manager, oh, I'm over time, 5 minutes over time. Sorry for everyone. Just noticed that. I'll stick around for more questions. I'll stick around for a couple more minutes. Um, but you can download a report so that if you want to send additional question or different additional messaging to those individuals who did give a gift during your match, you can download that list of donors and you can send them specific, specific language or specific thank you email to them. Um, okay. I know we're over. I think I think I've gone through most of the questions. Like I mentioned, this webinar will be sent as a recording and the slide deck in a follow-up email. I'll also include a link to the email template as well for communication. If you have any further questions, please let us know. We're here to support you. We wish you guys a great Giving Tuesday, as well as if you do, or if you're able to procure a matching grant and you share it on social media, please tag us or hashtag us, and we'll reshare it on our Instagram or on social media. I kind of love seeing different languages and kind of stealing it for examples. If you guys got a good social post, it makes my life easier. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I'll send the slide deck in a follow-up email.